This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Exotic cars, cash money, street rep, who needs all that when you have family? And food, lots and lots of food. Me personally, I'm built for comfort, not speed, so I'm gonna leave the street racing to them and race to the kitchen instead so I can furiously feast on the Fast and Furious Cookbook. Fast and Furious, the official cookbook with recipes by Joshua Hake and written by Trace Dean, is truly surprising to me. I want to thank Inside Editions for sending me this review copy, but I was honestly shocked when I saw this come through the mail. I never would have expected, out of all of the movies, that Fast and Furious would spring out a cookbook. But then again, after 10 movies and a 20-year legacy, there's probably a lot of scenes and content to draw from. But as the cookbook's introduction points out, Fast and the Furious is more than just fast cars and fist fights. It's really about the Torettos, and the Torettos are all about family. And what brings family together better than food? Looking back at the movies, there actually is a fair amount of food scenes, especially those family cookouts that happen pretty much in every movie. The recipes are divided into 5 different chapters. The first covers the Toretto family restaurant and its breakfast and diner staples. The second is for handheld and portable recipes, perfect for those always on the go. The third chapter is for recipes meant for family gathering cookouts. The fourth for recipes that are for energy-packed healthy snacks to give you the boost that you need. And the last chapter is for international recipes that are inspired by the different locations that the Toretto family have gone throughout the series. The cookbook is pretty small in stature compared to my other cookbooks, but for its size, it's got a surprising amount of content. For smaller books like these, I usually expect to see some recipes without photos to fit more content in, but I'm pleasantly surprised that every recipe comes with great high-quality photos that have that backyard barbecue kind of vibe. The photos look great and all, but the glaring omission here is that there is not one image of any of the characters from the movies. For a narrative that talks so much about the Torettos and with recipe descriptions that make many references to the characters, it's odd to not see one photo or still from any of the movies. You'd think they would include some of that in something that relies so heavily on nostalgia and the theme of family. The only photos that can be found are at the end of the cookbook, and they're just pictures of cars. Maybe there were some usage rights issues, but then that kind of defeats the point of having an officially licensed piece of media. So the Torettos are nowhere to be found, but let's see if we can find the flavor. Let's hit the road and race to the kitchen to make 3 recipes for our Fast and Furious themed cookout. Now, every race has a starting point, and ours starts at the Toretto Market and Cafe, where Brian's romance with Mia and his bromance with Dom all started. So let's start it off with Brian's go-to order.
I'll have the tuna.
No crust?
No crust.
One order of Tuna Sando no crust coming up. In a large bowl, combine 3 cans of tuna with a tablespoon of olive oil, a small shredded carrot, 2 stalks of finely diced celery, half a red onion, a half cup of finely diced spicy pickles, a half cup of mayo, 2 tablespoons of stone ground mustard, some salt, and black pepper to taste. Gently mix with a rubber spatula as to not break up the fish too much. To assemble, take some white bread, and of course, as Brian requested, we gotta slice off the crusts. Then lay on a leaf of iceberg lettuce, then top with the tuna mixture, then the bread. This Tuna Sando, no crust, is super fast to make and furiously easy to assemble. Now for our next stop, we need to leave the car and hop on a plane all the way to Japan for that Tokyo drift. But instead of souped up cars, we'll be dealing with souped up noodles as we prepare a hot bowl of Drift King Ramen. But before we tackle this iconic Japanese dish, why don't we first whet our appetites with these sweet and savory Japanese snacks from these Tokyo Treat and Sakurako snack boxes. Tokyo Treat is a fun and exclusive Japanese snack box featuring exciting and unique flavors straight from Japan. This month's theme is Cherry Blossom Bites, which is packed with Sakura flavored treats and snacks that bring the spirit of spring right to you. Treat yourself with snacks like these strawberry shortcake Kit Kat that combine crispy, creamy, and tangy, or the Sakura Blossom Cake with a creamy center packed with cherry blossom flavor. I also love these Sakura Petal Marshmallows that are soft and sweet with a hint of Sakura flavor. Sakurako is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers. Each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and a special Japanese tableware. This month's theme is Seasons of Sakura, featuring traditional flavors of cherry blossom season, from delicate sakura confections to vibrant sakura teas. Enjoy treats like this sakura manju, which is deliciously delicate and moist, or this sakura mochi that is dusted with some shiny powder and it looks awesome. And these treats pair perfectly with a sweet sakura tea that contained real cherry blossoms that bloom in hot water. Aside from the snacks, I also love how they come with these booklets that tell you more about the origins of the snacks and fun facts about Japanese culture. If you want to come home to a tasty little surprise every month and experience Japan in the comfort of your own home, then check out these Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co snack boxes. Use the link in the description or use the code MISOHUNGRY and enjoy a Sakura picnic from the comfort of your own home. Okay, let's drift back to the ramen. We're gonna start with the broth by mixing together 10 cups of veggie broth, a quarter cup of tamari sauce, which is like a richer, less salty version of soy sauce, a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of garlic paste, a tablespoon of minced ginger, a tablespoon of fish sauce, 2 teaspoons of bonito soup stock. Add to that 2 teaspoons of red miso paste, 2 teaspoons of sriracha, and a quarter teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Yes, cinnamon. Let's see how this turns out. Whisk everything together and bring to a boil over medium heat. Once the broth comes to a rolling boil, reduce the heat and simmer for 15 minutes. While our ramen broth is simmering, we're also going to be boiling an egg for 7 minutes, then cool, then peel. Okay, back to the broth. 15 minutes have passed, so now let's add some packaged ramen without the seasoning and cook for 3 minutes. Then transfer the noodles to a bowl and add in your desired amount of hot broth. Place the eggs that are cut in half. Apologies for the rough edges. I was rushing to peel these and completely manhandled them. Top with some mushrooms. I'm using shimeji since that's what the cookbook photo looks like it's using. Some matchstick cut carrots, jalapeno slices, corn, and peas. Finally top with some sliced scallions, chili paste, toasted sesame seeds, and also some nori strips, but I didn't have any nori strips. And that's it. A bowl of ramen fit for a Drift King. I hope. We end our meal with some backyard barbecue with the fam. So get your grill hot because the star of our family cookout is Mi Familia BBQ Chicken. First things first, we gotta combine 2 quarts of water with 2 tablespoons of salt and 2 tablespoons of sugar and mix until dissolved. Then add in the juice of 2 lemons and 8 sprigs of fresh thyme. Then add in 6 chicken hindquarters. The cookbook didn't say to boil the mixture, so I'm guessing this is gonna be a cold brine, which I've never tried before, so I'm very interested to see how this is gonna turn out. Chill this in the fridge for an hour. Now preheat your grill to medium heat. I live in a condo, and when I was cooking it, it looked like God of War Ragnarok outside, so outdoor grilling is not an option. So I'll be using this indoor grill instead. Remove the chicken from the brine and pat them dry before rubbing on some olive oil, 2 teaspoons of salt, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Then in a medium bowl, combine together a cup of ketchup with 2 tablespoons of sambal oelek. I absolutely love this stuff. A must-have condiment for sure. Also add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and a teaspoon of chili powder. Mix together and set aside for the barbecue. Place the chicken on the grill. Turn after a minute, then again after another minute, then 2 more times every 5 minutes for a total of 20 minutes. Now lightly brush on the sauce and grill for 10 minutes, then brush again with the sauce for the delish double coat. Grill until you reach an internal temp of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, which should be about another 30 minutes, turning it over once before brushing with more sauce. I really wish I had a regular grill right now because these indoor ones make too much surface contact with the skin and the sauce, and it's not giving me grill marks, just burnt spots. That's the heavy price you gotta pay for condo and winter life. Not gonna stop me from eating this chicken though, cause I'm all gas no brakes on this big serving of Mi Familia BBQ Chicken. Okay, enough with the fasting, time to get to feasting. Starting with the Tuna Sando. Pretty solid. Tastes like tuna sandwich, which I like, but there's nothing that majorly stands out about it. I think this recipe is a good base for a basic tuna sandwich that you can use to customize to your liking. I prefer my tuna sandwich to be creamier, so during the week I added some additional mayo along with some more sliced pickles and another can of tuna. All in all, not bad, but you'll need to tweak it and make it your own to really get the best out of this recipe. Now, of course, we can't have fast and furious food without a bottle of Corona, but since I don't really like beer, I'm having a bottle of Miso-Rona instead, which is really just pineapple Doritos. Now let's do the ramen. Let's take a sip of this broth. Super interesting. I was really scratching my head with the addition of cinnamon, but you know what? I don't hate it. Gives it a unique warm spiciness that kinda works with the salty. It's definitely not my favorite, but I'm pleasantly surprised that it kinda works. I think the hint of cinnamon tastes even better with the noodles, but to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the toppings. Having all of the toppings be uncooked makes for easier assembly, but I think frying the mushrooms, jalapenos, and corn would have probably amplified the flavors. But raw, they all kind of just get lost and overpowered by the kick of the broth. Let's do the chicken. This is delicious. This ketchup sambal sauce is liquid gold, and I know I'm going to be using this many times in many meals to come. Sweet and spicy with a hint of smokiness that is just finger licking good with the chicken. I know I didn't grill this in the ideal way and there's a lot of burnt surface area on top, but I really didn't mind because the chicken came out super juicy and perfectly cooked. I think that cold brine worked, and I'm probably going to be doing that to my chicken pieces from now on for a quick and easy way to add flavor and moisture. This is some good chicken. So is the Fast and Furious Cookbook any good? I definitely think there's room for improvement when it comes to the theme. Would have been cool to see more visuals from the 10 movies worth of story and characters, but the food was surprisingly decent. Go try out that barbecue chicken.